Good morning. I'm going to call the docket. When I say your name, please say here or present. Jaden Freedley. Candace Munoz. Tracy Chastain. Rachel Powell. Zion Thomas.
And Judge, Ms. Dixon asked me to let you know that she's on her way over. She had to pick up plea paperwork at our office this morning.
Okay, thank you. Christopher Fields. All right, is there anyone in the courtroom whose name I have not called? All right, Mr. Ashmore, are you ready on anything? Or do you need time? That's fine. That's fine. Yes, sir. Mr. Sierra, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Sierra, can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you put a jacket and a tie on for me?
Judge, I don't have a tie, but I can put on a coat.
That'll work. That'll work. I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm trying to keep consistency, Zoom and courtroom. I know it's a little bit of an issue, but are you ready on Mr. Fields?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. This is CR 20-158. Mr. Fields, step up to the podium right there if you don't mind, sir. And Mr. Fields, your attorney, Mr. Sierra, is appearing via Zoom. Can you see him here in this?
Yes, sir.
Let's see if this will help you. Does that help you there? Can you see him there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Sierra, can you see your client, Mr. Fields, in the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And just make sure that you speak into that microphone, okay? All right. I believe that we're set for a pre-trial today. Mr. Sierra, are there any contested pre-trial motions?
No, Your Honor, not at this time. Given that this is a new forum, my question to you is, I was anticipating getting an offer, then having the opportunity to meet with my client, and then have further communications with the state.
Have you received all of your discovery?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Have you had an opportunity to review that?
I have reviewed it, Your Honor.
Okay. And so, but you haven't filed any contested pretrial motions to suppress, motions to quash? Okay.
Not at this time, Your Honor.
So what the court does is once we determine whether there's any contested pretrial motions, then if there aren't any, then we'll move to the next hearing, which would be a docket call. So that would be that additional time for you to negotiate with the state and determine whether or not there's going to be any plea bargains. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what we'll do then is the court will note that there are no contested pretrial motions. We'll set this for a hearing on the docket call. And at docket call, what I would expect, Mr. Sierra, is that would be the day if all negotiations have been made, then court's instructed on whether there's going to be a plea or there's going to be a request for a jury trial or a bench trial.
Excellent. And Judge, how do I acquire well, I guess I can call the DA's office later to get their emails and their phone numbers later.
Well, and if you want to, and Ms. Heisel, if you want to provide that to Mr. Sierra while I'm looking at the calendar, you can go ahead.
Mr. Sierra, I've communicated with your secretary. She's got my email address.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Just give me one moment. I'm going to check a calendar issue. Mr. Sierra, are you available on either Tuesday, November 10th or Thursday, November 12th?
Give me a second, Judge. The 12th, Judge, I'm available.
Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll set this for docket call on Thursday, November 12th at 9 a.m. And so what I'm going to have Mr. Fields do is I'm going to have a notice of resetting form. The bailiff's going to have him sign. We're going to give him a copy of that here in the courtroom.
Yes, Judge. And Judge, the offer is communicated to me when and how?
I'll send an email.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Sierra?
No, Your Honor. Thank you so much. And Mr. Fields, I'll see you this week.
Okay. All right. All right. Then this case is adjourned and we'll see you back on November 12th at 9 a.m. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Ms. Freely, are you going to be requesting a court-appointed attorney or are you going to hire an attorney? You have requested one or you're going to? You have? All right. So you've already met with my indigent defense coordinator today? Okay. Thank you. Ms. Munoz? Is Ms. Munoz in here? Ms. Munoz, have you requested a court-appointed attorney? And you've already met with my coordinator? Thank you.
Where'd Chris go?
I'm not gonna go and talk to Patty.
We're going to just stand in recess for a few minutes. Dixon is here. She said that she believes Thomas comes away from her. I'm sorry, I didn't have my switch on. I was going to tell you, we're going to stand in recess for just a few minutes. Miss Dixon is here, and she's indicated to me that Mr. Thomas is on his way in from Dallas. Mr. Ashmore asked for a few minutes to speak with his clients. And then I have a couple of other individuals who have filled out the court-appointed paperwork. So we'll just stand in recess for a few minutes and let people get together.
We'll be here. Thanks, Judge.
Ms. Friedley, you come to the podium, please. All right, this is cause number CR 19231, State of Texas versus Jaden Friedley. Ms. Friedley, we were set today on a hearing regarding your unsuccessful discharge from the pretrial intervention program. The court is going to appoint, based on your application for appointment of counsel, going to appoint the Honorable Deborah Beasley to represent you. And I believe you had Ms. Beasley prior to being placed in the program. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So the court has appointed Ms. Beasley. Court finds that she would be more familiar with your case at this time. So I'm going to have the bailiff provide you two things in order relating to her appointment, which will have her phone number and her address on there. And then you're going to sign this notice of setting, and we're going to reset your case till October 12th. That will give us time to notify Ms. Beasley, and she can be in contact with you. We'll come back on that date for this hearing. I'm sorry, not October 12th, November 12th. November 12th. Thank you. All right, Ms. Freely, the court has also issued conditions of pretrial release associated with your bond in this case. So at this time, I'm going to have you go back and meet with Director Burns here to go over those conditions, and she'll sign those with you and give you a copy of that. And then we'll see you back on November 12th. Go ahead and give Ms. Beasley a call and let her know that she's been appointed to your case. We'll be sending the paperwork over.
Okay.
So if she's not aware of her appointment within 24 hours or so, don't be alarmed by that, okay?
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, State, we're still waiting on Mr. Ashmore. He's received a new appointment. He's been appointed to represent Candace Munoz. So he's meeting with her at this time. We'll go over his appointment of her, but I'm going to give him time to talk with her so maybe he can wrap up all his clients at the same time. And I believe he was also inquiring about a waiver of jury trial.
Yes, I just emailed it to the clerk's office and texted him to let him know that.
All right. Okay, so we'll just stand and reset. Actually, Ms. Dixon, is Mr. Thomas ready? Do you need time for paperwork? Sure. Okay. So Mr. Thomas is here. Ms. Dixon's going to go over the paperwork with him. So we'll just stand in recess until they're ready.
Thanks, Judge.
right, State, you ready?
Yes, sir, we're ready.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Ashmore, are you ready?
I am ready, Your Honor.
Who are you ready on?
Let's start with Mr. Chastain, if we might, Your Honor, please.
Tracy Lee Chastain. Mr. Chastain, if you'll make your way to the middle podium. This is CR 2205.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I believe we're set for pretrial today.
We are, Your Honor. And we have reached a plea agreement with the state of Texas. Thank you for allowing us some additional time to work that out. Right now, my client is signing a waiver of jury trial. We're going to reset this for some time to come back on the sentencing, on the plea and sentencing. He'll need a little bit of time to get affairs in order. So we're asking the court for a reset to accommodate that. And that's it. So
Is it a plea agreement to time or is it an open plea?
it's a plea agreement to 7 years TDCJ with treatment in the Department of Corrections as well as a minimal fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do you have that waiver of jury trial for me?
May I approach you?
You may. And State, do you join in the waiver of jury trial request with Mr. Tracy Chastain and Mr. Ashmore?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Chastain, if you will, raise your right hand for me. Mr. Chastain, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Chastain, I hold in my hand a waiver of jury trial that indicates that you have spoken with your attorney, Mr. Ashmore, and that you are asking the court to allow you to have your case, to have your jury trial right waived in this case. And in doing so, you understand that you have the right to have your case tried before a jury of your peers. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand that also included with that right is the right to confront and cross-examine the state's witnesses in front of that jury.
Yes, sir.
You understand that no one can take the right of jury trial away from you. However, you can voluntarily, intentionally, knowingly waive that right of jury trial.
Yes, sir.
And you've spoken with Mr. Ashmore today, and it is your desire to waive your right to jury trial in this case and to proceed with a resolution in your case by plea agreement. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone threatened you, forced you, or pressured you to waive your right to jury trial?
No, sir.
You understand that once the court approves this, there's really just very limited circumstances which would allow you to have that right restored.
Yes, sir.
All right, court will find that the defendant, Tracy Chastain, has intentionally, knowingly, and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial after being admonished of his rights, that this waiver is joined by his attorney, Mr. Casey Ashmore, and also consented to by the state of Texas. Court hereby approves the waiver of jury trial. Mr. Ashmore, is there any specific amount of time that you need to get the paperwork and resolve this for Mr. Chastain?
Just a few. My respectful request would be 3 to 4 weeks, Your Honor, to allow him to take care of any arrangements he may need to set. Scheduled to be in a jury trial on the 3rd of November in Kaufman, Texas, which I do not believe is going to go, but in fact, I know it's not going to go, but I don't know if that's going to turn into a bench trial, so.
Are you available on November 12th? That's a Thursday?
Yes, Judge. Okay.
Then let's set Mr. Chastain then for Thursday, November 12th at 9 a.m. for a plea. Yes, Mr. Chastain, once you get your notice of setting, we'll see you back on November 12th at 9 a.m.
Thank you.
All right, who are you ready on now?
Ms. Munoz is here in the courtroom, and she's here on an arraignment we visited a moment ago out in the hall. I have her charging indictments, and I just have a question, Your Honor. The appointment order appoints me on both cases. I understand one of them to be downstairs in Judge Mooner's court, but for judicial efficiency, she would just handle both these at the same time, and I'll make an oral motion to consolidate it and file one later today.
Do you know if she's been arraigned downstairs? Has she made an appearance on that misdemeanor
Ms.
case?
Abraham investigated that and does not see any settings in that case at this point, but there is an indictment returned.
Okay, then, yeah, let's go ahead and arraign her on both cases, and then you make that request to the county court of law to transfer that case out, and the court will accept it. We'll run them together.
Okay.
You understand what's being spoken about, Ms. Munoz? You have two cases. One's in this court and one's in a lower court downstairs. So instead of having you go to two different places at two different times to see two different judges, we're talking about consolidating all that into one. So
And for the child endangerment, I have, I think it's Linda Bush on that one.
That will remain separate. That is your CPS attorney.
Okay,
And Ms. Bush is your CPS case, and you're in front of Judge Logan on those two.
okay, so there's something else.
Right, that's a third case, but these two criminal charges,
Okay,
right, that's a civil case. That's a CPS matter, you with the Department of Family Service.
okay,
Okay. So that's not this case,
okay,
even though they're somewhat related.
okay.
even though the facts may arise and bring about the same things, you're being accused of a criminal offense or two criminal offenses. And then you also have a civil accusation regarding the safety and well-being of your children. Ms. Bush, as Mr. Ashmore has aptly stated, Ms. Bush is representing you on that in relationship to that case regarding the alleged abuse or neglect of your children. These two are being represented by Mr. Ashmore
Okay,
regarding the criminal offenses, okay?
Thank you.
All right, so what's that cause number, Mr. Ashmore? Do you know? The one in the FC maybe, or the
It's F-19.
F-19?
00015. F-19 3015.
And what's that charge?
That is a fraudulent filing of a financial statement under Penal Code Section 3710, a state jail felony. And
All right, and for the record, this is
Candace?
cause number CR
Yes,
20-183, abandoning, endangering a child, and
Yes.
F-19-15, fraudulent filing of financial statement. All right, are you ready for arraignment?
yes. Ms. Munoz, we've had just a minute to look at this charging instrument and discuss it. Yes? You need to have
Yes.
both hands around.
Yes.
She's typing it all up. You're doing
Yes.
fine. And you've identified and confirmed that your name is spelled correctly on the charging instrument regarding fraudulent filing of a financial statement.
yes,
And you understand the nature of the allegations against you, correct?
yes,
And you want to enter a plea of not guilty, correct?
correct.
Okay, and if I could ask the court a favor, both these are state jail felonies, just a short admonition on the range of punishment, because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Yes.
Sorry.
The range of punishment for a state jail felony, Ms. Munoz, is confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice State Jail Division for not less than 6 months nor more than 2 years, and a fine not to exceed $10,000 in each case. You understand that range of punishment? That means any sentence handed down by this court or any plea agreement would have to fit somewhere within that range. That does not mean that you can't have probation or things of that nature. It just means any sentence handed down upon a conviction to time would have to be within those ranges of punishment.
Thank you.
Judge. And then on the abandoning or endangering a child criminal charge under 22.041F of the Penal Code, which is cause number CR 20-00183. You've seen that charge you submitted and identified and confirmed that your name is spelled
Yes.
correctly, and you understand the
Mhm.
charge in that case.
Yes.
You wish to enter a plea of not guilty at this time.
Correct.
I think that's all we got. Thank you.
All right, court will enter Ms. Candace Munoz's plea of not guilty into the record in each cause. Court will ask you, Mr. Ashmore, to file a motion to consolidate the cases in the 294th District Court. Court will set, tentatively, I'm just going to go ahead and set both cases in anticipation that the consolidation gets approved downstairs. Court will set each case for pretrial on November 12th at 9 a.m. And obviously, Mr. Ashmore, if that's not enough time to get discovery, review it, get the consolidation, get any pretrial motions filed, you'll just let me know on the 12th and we can consider granting additional time.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Munoz, we're gonna have you sign this notice of resetting.
Okay.
And Ms. Munoz, on the basis of you posting bond in this case and requesting a court-appointed attorney, court has issued conditions of your pretrial release that you'll have to comply with while you're on bond in this case. Mr. Ashmore has the court's copy, I believe. We're going to have you take those and sign those with my probation officer here, Director Burns. So once you get your notice of setting, take your conditions of pretrial release, step into this room back here, and then we'll give you a copy of those, and then you'll be free to go.
Thank you.
You still have it.
I believe that Ms. Powell has not appeared.
Not seen her.
Is that the only one you have left?
That's it.
And let's see, and you don't have anything this afternoon?
You've done it.
Okay. All right, well, we'll see if Ms. Powell shows up. If she does, there will be a reservation for her out at the Justice Center.
Just so the court knows, I did call her, text her. And I was advised by her bail bondsman that they're looking forward. I don't know why she's not responsive. But we've made efforts to remind her of her obligation to enjoy her liberty. Maybe she's enjoying it.
Maybe she's enjoying it too much.
Maybe she's enjoying it too much. It's not shore leave, it's just liberty.
That's right. That's right. It's not shore leave. That's right. Yes, sir. Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, Steve, I'll just stand in recess. We're still waiting on Miss Dixon.
Okay. Judge, on Miss Powell, did you set an amount on the NICI?
I believe I did. I believe it's, and actually, it's not a nice side. It's going to be a release of surety.
Oh, okay.
For Nicholas. And I think I issued the original bill of $25,000, I believe. Yes, $25,000.
Thank you, Judge.
But yes, not a nice sign. I won't need that for Ms. Happy.
Okay.
All right, so I'll just, we'll wait for Ms. Dixon. You ready, Ms. Dixon?
We are, Your Honor.
All right, State, are you ready?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
All right, this is in cause DR 876, State of Texas versus Zion Thomas. Mr. Thomas, if you will you raise your right hand, sir? I'm going to place you under oath. Mr. Thomas, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You put your hand down. Ms. Dixon, do you have a motion to adjudicate? Let's see that if you don't mind. Give that back to you. All right, Mr. Thomas. You were appearing before the court on September 25th of 2018. You pled guilty to the offense of deadly conduct, a Class A misdemeanor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the court at that time heard the evidence, found that there was sufficient evidence to substantiate your guilt. However, the court deferred a finding of guilt and placed you on community supervision for a period of 2 years. And the court also assessed a $200 fine. It was during that term of your community supervision that the state filed its motion to adjudicate and revoke your community supervision. And the state alleged in 5 separate counts various ways that you violated the terms and conditions of your community supervision. Have you had an opportunity to review this with your attorney, Ms. Leslie Dixon?
Yes, Your Honor. I have.
Do you feel like you've had sufficient time to discuss the case with her and have all of your legal questions answered?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Dixon, does your client waive the formal reading of the state's motion to adjudicate?
Yes, he does, Your Honor.
And is it his intention to plead true to all counts?
It is, Your Honor.
You reducing it?
And it appears that the plea agreement between Mr. Thomas and the state is, upon a plea of true, the state's recommending that Mr. Thomas's guilt be adjudicated, that his community supervision be revoked, that he be sentenced to 14 days confinement in the Van Zandt County Jail with credit for 7 days of time served and the balance of his financial obligations. Is that your understanding of the plea, Ms. Dixon?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And yours as well, Ms. Thomas, or Mr. Thomas?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right, and you believe your client to be competent today, Ms. Dixon?
Your Honor, I do believe that my client is competent.
All right, Mr. Thomas, then at this time, I'm going to ask you, how do you plead to the counts alleged in the state's motion to adjudicate? Are those counts true or not true?
It's true.
Mr. Thomas, are you telling me that they are true because in fact they are true and for no other reason?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone threatened you, forced you, pressured you, made you feel like you had to plead true to any of these counts?
No, sir.
All right, the court will accept the defendant's plea of true. Ms. Dixon, is there any objection to the admission of the defendant's waiver of rights and plea of true to state's motion to adjudicate?
Your Honor, we have no objection to the admission of that document.
Right, court admits the defendant's waiver of rights and the evidence. Court takes judicial notice of Mr. Thomas's judicial confession. Is there anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further from the defense?
Your Honor, we would like to respectfully request that the court allow Mr. Thomas to submit himself to the Van Zandt County Jail at 6 p.m. on Friday evening to begin serving his sentence.
Is that something that was negotiated with the state?
That is not something that was negotiated, no, Your Honor. We did not really discuss that.
State, do you have an opinion on that?
Judge, we have no objection. I'm not sure logistically what the best way to correct that is. Mr. Thomas has always shown up. We have no reason to think he wouldn't do otherwise. We could either amend the judgment and email a new judgment to you, Judge. I'm just not sure what the best way to do that is since the paperwork doesn't reflect that.
Yeah, the front page says that the sentence commences today, that it's executed today.
And I apologize, Your Honor. I should have discussed that with the state, but that's something that Mr. Thomas requested once he arrived today.
State, if you have no objection, court would approve that. I would just request a new judgment be prepared reflecting that with a commitment order.
Okay. I will get Ms. Edwards on that and we will send it over, Judge, if Mr. Thomas would just hang around for a copy of that because he will need that new paperwork reflected to get into the jail Friday.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to recess the case for a moment. We'll recall it once I have the new paperwork, and then we'll have everything done at the same time and ensure that he gets a copy of that.
Sounds good, Judge. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Thomas, you can just have a seat. We're going to correct your paperwork and then we'll resume.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ms. Dixon, I have sent the updated judgment to the clerk's office for them to print it for you.
If I may be excused.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Hines.
And Judge, the attachment that we normally do for the order of commitment, Miss Abney is out, and she is the one who normally prepares those.
You know, I
So-
think it should be okay. I was thinking about that. Since it's not an in and out, I think as long as we have the commence date, we'll have the imposed date up here,
Yes.
which I noticed that was blank, but we need to make sure we have the 6th on this one and then just the 9th. I can't tell wrong.
That's what we did, Judge. Let me see if I can get it up here. So we have the 6th up here, the 9th down here, and then we added the language about submitting to the Van Zandt
Perfect.
County Jail.
I think that's good. I think that's sufficient.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
importance of being there, not 5 minutes after 6, not 15 minutes, but before 6.
All right, Mr. Thomas, come on up. All right, State, you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We are back on the record in CR 18-76, State of Texas versus Sion Dwayne Thomas. Court has granted the request made by Mr. Thomas to serve the remainder of his sentence on Friday, October 9th at 2020 at 6 p.m. Mr. Thomas, based on the evidence before the court is going to find that you have violated the terms and conditions of your community supervision. The court's going to follow the plea agreement in this case. The court convicts you of the Class A misdemeanor offense of deadly conduct. The court assesses your punishment at 14 days confinement in the Van Zandt County Jail with 7 days credit for time already served on this case. The court orders you to pay the balance of your financial obligations due. The court orders you to submit yourself to the Van Zandt County Jail on Friday, October 9th, no later than 6 p.m. to serve the remainder of your sentence. You're hereby remanded to the custody of the Van Zandt County Sheriff so he can carry out the terms and conditions of your sentence. When you go to the Van Zandt County Jail, it's very important that you take with you a photographic identification. If you go with just this paperwork and you say, this is who I am, they're not going to let you into the jail. Okay. Show up with your driver's license or state ID, something where they can verify your identity along with this paperwork. And we're going to make sure that we get you a copy of this today. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So go ahead and step forward. I'm going to have you fingerprinted with my bailiff, and then we'll get a copy of it, and then you'll be free to go. All right, State, that resolves the morning docket. I believe we have 2 in the afternoon with one's unrepresented at this time. And then I believe Ms. Beasley will be here on Ms. Ramirez. So you anticipate appearing at the jail or via Zoom?
Via Zoom, Your Honor.
Via Zoom? Okay. All right, we'll see you this afternoon.
Thank you, Judge.
I do. They also hear me